So now that I finished building this case, the next step is to go and put a computer into it. So now that I've taken apart my computer and I have it sitting back here, I'm gonna go step by step building this thing up. The first step in building this computer, like probably a lot of them are, is to put the power supply in. This power supply in this system is a lot different than most, because it goes straight in the bottom. Most do, but it's not really an easy fit. It's pretty tight. So, yeah. Just watch me try to squeeze it in here. Wow, that fit amazingly easily. So now that the power supply is in, I have this rat's nest of cables sticking out, which I'll get to later. The next thing I'm going to have to do is screw it in. I specially made black screws that I got through here, so they actually blend in, and you don't notice the screws are there. So I have these screws now, and they're actually black painted. Pretty easy, just drill a hole into wood, which fits these threads, which kind of fit the threads easily, so you don't actually have to screw them in. Chuck them in, just put a little bit of black spray paint on, it doesn't take very much, and bam, black screws. Use this for a lot of stuff, really makes your project look a lot better. So I'm gonna have to get these lined, that's gonna be a big pain to line it up, so I'll do it off camera. So the fact that I'm actually using a pre-built like ATX case, that ATX mount, made it really easy to just pop in the thing. And now I get to work on the other components. So the next component I have to install right now is the motherboard, which means putting it onto this tray, which I reused. So it'll be a pretty easy just plop and play. So now that I got my motherboard ready to mount, I have to mount this on, which is the I/O bracket, which just pops right in like most computers would. This tray is typically quite annoying when it comes to putting these in, so it requires a ton of force, but I got it in relatively easy this time. So, this is like mounting most computers, but it's going to be slightly more annoying. So, I don't know, I've actually never put it in here, this motherboard in here before, so it's going to be a lot of trial and error. So I'm going to get back to you guys once I have it in here and just talk about how I did it. So I put this in right now, and yeah, the 24 pin is going to be a huge pain in whatever you want it to be to get going, because this is a big cable, really. I'm kind of hoping they're going to change the 24 pin into something like smaller, more modern in the future, but I don't see them doing that, so get a live with it. Next thing we're going to do is cards. So, Wi-Fi card, like always, really easy to install. It just slips in here. It's PCIe 1.0 slot. I'm going to experiment about which slot I'm going to put my graphics card in based off of cooling sometime in the future. Because if it's running a wee bit too hot, I'm going to put it in the other slot. But right now, I'm going to put it in the slot right next to the window. Because I think it'll look better that way, personally. And yeah, if I have Windows in the system, so at least to me, if I have Windows, it's kind of an excuse to pay attention to the look of it. Because in that G4, I didn't have any like windows or anything to see inside of it, so it's kind of like, who cares what it looks like? Build, you know. I'm just going to be screwing in my graphics card so it stays in place. That's typically a good thing. And the last thing I have right here, black painted PCI Express PCI slot cover, and that's going to just look better than the average silver one. I'm trying to have like a black theme, black with I guess kind of like blue and gray on it. That's kind of what the theme I'm going for right now is. So the next thing I have going right now is cabling, of which if you think cabling is a pain in a normal rig where you have like an inch of space, to shove all your cables and no one sees them, this is fun. I mean, I guess I do have quite a bit of space to shove my cables, because I have this whole bottom area to shove cables. Like, the only area where I can't put my cables is when I'm putting my SSD in the bottom, and it's not a big drive. So, yeah, I might actually put my SSD somewhere else thinking about it. So, these cables, they just slip in here. I'm actually going to be routing this around the wooden post in a different way, hoping it'll look better. Because I did the test build in the fourth part of this video series, this will fit just perfectly. Yeah, that's ugly, I know. I'll wrap that around something off camera. The next and almost last thing I have, this solid state disc. I gotta mount this, and I don't know exactly where I'm looking for a cable. My first impression when it came to mounting this, I just shove it down here. I mean, it works. Next idea I have is just almost mount it like right here. I know you guys can't see this. Sorry about that. And I guess the advantage of mounting it here, this looks quite a bit better. So that's probably what I'm going to be doing now. Because, at least to me, I bought an SSD. These aren't really cheap when I got them. I haven't gotten that much cheaper though. So, if I'm going to spend quite a bit on storage that's like ultra small, ultra cool, might as well try to show it off. So that's what I'm going to be doing now. Shoving it up here. I mean, kind of this build was a lot less planned than a normal build should be. But, I guess that's just what you're going to get. So I'm going to attach this drive and be done. So here it is done after a ton of work. It's nice looking. And I'm going to just power it up and show it for a little bit, and all the pretty footage is going to be in the conclusion next video, which is probably going to come out next week. Thanks for watching.